Hello everybody, how goes it? Rabbitsmore here, and this is my tutorial for my industrial brewing station. And if you're not really sure what that is, it's basically just a large contraption that mass produces potions at a really quick rate, or at least that's what mine does. So that's my definition for it. So I'm going to quickly go over how this works, and then we'll get into building it. So, like I said, it mass produces potions, and all we have to do, or how it works, is we just need to go in, throw in a bunch of water bottles, since that's what we use for brewing, and we have an area up here for doing that. And those go through and automatically fill up our chests and everything. And then we just need to fill up our ingredients that we want to use for our potions. You can see here I have a couple labeled. We have our nether wart up top to start the brewing process. Then I have potions of regeneration and potions of healing, or vice versa. I can't remember which one is which. And then I have the glowstone down at the bottom to make them a little more potent at the end. So all you have to do is fill up these chests with your ingredients. They'll automatically go into the selection slots here, and they'll be put straight down into our brewing stations on the side here. And you can see we're using a multi-brewing station system here to be as efficient as possible, which basically means as soon as it's done brewing any potions up here, and by the way, I have this system off right now, so that's why nothing is happening currently. I'll turn it on in a second. But as soon as this one is finished, it will pull these out and put them into the next one here to start brewing up the next part of the potion, and immediately fill this back up with water bottles again. So basically, it's as fast as a brewing station can possibly go because it's always brewing. And it's always doing the single part of that brewing part. So it kind of splits up the work amongst different brewing stations. So, like I said, you fill up your ingredients up top, they'll get automatically put into here. It will automatically pull out whatever it's finished and put it into the next piece, and eventually go down to where you can collect your potions here. And we just have a clock in the back to help us run and keep track of time to make sure that it sets up the bottles appropriately. So let's get into building it. Alright, so before we get into building this, I just wanted to show what this looks like without any of the other building blocks around it. And you can see it actually ends up pretty compact for what it does. And I'm just going to show you guys how to build half of this setup right here, because once you've done that, all you have to do is invert it or flip it to the other side here. It's just the exact same thing mirrored, and you'll have that set up there. And then once you have this here, you can actually start tiling that or building them side by side or across from each other to go as far as you want. So we only need to build half of that to get that working. So we're going to build this one line at a time here. So I'm going to start with this left side here. We're going to go out and pick the spot that we want to be building this. And the first thing I'm going to do is dig a spot into the ground and place our chest where we're going to be collecting our potions. I'm going to go back behind that and place a hopper going into it, and then place a brewing stand on top of that one right there. And then I'm going to put 2 hoppers going into this brewing stand. It's kind of hard. You have to aim for this little box down here. Hold shift and right click those there. And on the second one here, we're going to put another brewing stand. And same thing, 2 more hoppers behind this one here. And then on top of that one, we're going to do, again, 1 more brewing stand and then 1 more hopper on the back. And that's good to go. So next we need to put our chests feeding the items into the top of these. So we just need to put a hopper on top of each one of these brewing stands and a chest going into these. And you can put a double chest so you can hold more items. And let me get this last one on here. All right, and that's good to go. So we can start with our next row. All right, so for our next row, we're going to be doing our tiered redstone going up the sides here. So for our first one, we're going to dig out a block next to our hopper here and place a redstone torch. And then I'm going to replace these 2 blocks here. We're going to have a redstone repeater going into this hopper here and another torch. Then we're going to go up 2 blocks or up another block here, put another repeater going into this one here, and a redstone torch right there. And then again, on this top one, we're going to have the same thing with just a repeater right here. And then starting from this top one, we're going to add 1 tick. The next one's going to add 2. And the next will be adding 3 all the way to the fullest point, so it is the longest delay on that one there. And then we're going to have to do a little bit of digging here next to our redstone. So for this first one here, I broke out that block beneath this repeater here. We're going to have a repeater going into this block here with a redstone dust right behind that. And then where this one is going into, we're going to go down beneath here and do the same thing. We're going to have a piece of redstone and a repeater. And then once again, go down into this area. And again, redstone dust and a repeater, not a torch, a repeater. And there we go. So that's good to go for that row. Okay, for our next row, we're just going to be hooking all of our redstone up using redstone dust. So we want all of our repeaters hooked up to the redstone dust, but we don't want any going next to the torches. So next to the repeaters, we're going to have the dust, and then make sure that the block is going next to the torch, not underneath it, so that it doesn't actually activate the dust. But then we're going to put dust here and going all the way up here. And on the back side, we can put another block so it staircases down and connects to our side redstone there. And the center is finished there, so you're finished with the one side of your system here. And like I said, all you need to do if you want to expand it is just flip the one side over to the other side and you'll have that. And then once you've built the double there, you can start expanding those. Just make sure that you use trap chests next to your normal chests so that they don't try to connect. But yeah, this is all you need. So once you have this, you can start expanding that. But now we'll work on the hopper timer system and how to get the water bottles in. All right, so for our hopper timer system, we're actually going to have a standard hopper timer going into a pulse shortener, and that's going to go into a single cycle hopper timer, which sounds complicated, but it's actually fairly easy. So where we just built our piece over here, we're going to bring down our redstone 1 from this larger piece here, or the one that's up 1. Bring that down and put a piece of dust. And that's going to go into our hoppers, so we're going to place a hopper here, and then right-click the hopper going into this one here, break that out, and do the same in the opposite direction so that they're going into each other. Then next to the right one here, we're going to place a comparator going into a block with the redstone dust on top of that. And then while we have this open, we can go ahead and place our blocks in these for our timing system. And we only need 5 for this one here. So 5 of any block, and it doesn't matter which hopper you put it in. Just go ahead and throw that in there. And then on this left side, we're going to place a sticky piston next to this. And 2 blocks away from this, we can go ahead and place a block and put a redstone torch here, just so that we don't have to worry about this system going back and forth while we're working on it. And then we can place a block of redstone next to our sticky piston. And then we need a sticky piston on the other side as well, which you can place on the side of this redstone right here. And this clock is ready to go. Next, we're going to be working on our pulse shortener coming from our second hopper timer over here. So what we're going to do is go over here where we have this block, place a repeater next to that, and then right-click that to 2 ticks. And then next to this one here, we're going to have a sticky piston facing straight up and another block there. And then this is going to have a repeater going into it. And again, right-click it to 2 ticks. And from here, we're going to set up another hopper timer, just like our first one here. So break out 2 blocks, place a hopper going into that one, break this one out, and then place that one going into that there. And since this one is a normal hopper timer, we're going to have a comparator on either side. Again, going into a solid block with redstone on top. And again, while we have this open, we can go ahead and place our blocks inside. This one will need 28 blocks. So go ahead and grab 28 of any block, throw that in. Again, it doesn't matter which hopper you put it into. And I'm going to go ahead and place a lever next to our dust over here. So again, it doesn't go back and forth and set the whole system off. And then you just go ahead and place a sticky piston, your block of redstone, and then your other sticky piston on the other side there. And that's good to go. So also, this is our on-off switch for our whole system. So if you want to set up an on-off switch for your brewing station, if you want to be able to turn it off and not have to worry about it brewing too many potions or something, you can place a lever right here, or you can lead this redstone off wherever you want it to go to a lever to turn the whole system off. But this hopper right here, this hopper timer system right here, I'll switch it on real quick. This one is just long enough to know just how long it takes for a potion to brew. And our second clock here is actually how long it takes for the brewing stations to empty their potions into a hopper and then go into another brewing station. So that's why we have 2 here. Okay, so next we just need to build our area where we're going to be making our water bottles and dropping them into our system. So since water bottles can be a little glitchy, I'm going to be building it a little further away from our other hoppers so they don't accidentally go through a block and go into those. So starting from your top one here, going into your top brewing station, go ahead and place a hopper going down and then one going sideways here. And then just surround this top one with glass on all sides and the bottom one here. So we're going to go around on the bottom layer and the middle layer here and surround the entire thing. And then go ahead and break out your center block here and place your water in the center. And now when you want to fill it up, all you have to do is stand up top here with water bottles or empty bottles in your hand and right click right here and they'll automatically go into the bottom. But for an easier way to do that, I go ahead and show you that. I'll grab some bottles and we'll grab any sort of item, so like a stack of cobblestone, and go into survival mode here. If you go ahead and hold down right click and fill up your entire rest of your inventory so that no other blocks can come into your inventory, now whenever you right click with the glass bottle, it won't have room for a water bottle, so it'll just automatically throw them out of your inventory. You can see as I right click, it'll just automatically throw them in. And you see if I do it really, really fast, they start to glitch out. So like I said, that's why we surrounded the entire thing here with glass so that they won't glitch through the walls or anything. So that's pretty much that. And this is for if you just want to set it up for your first single system here, but you can see in this one over here, we did the same thing, and then we had that go into a chain of hoppers going sideways here, and then at the very end it goes downwards, but the rest of these are going sideways. So that's if you want to have the water bottles set up for multiple of these, and you can do that as long as you wanted, for as long as your chain is for your system. Alright, so that's pretty much it, guys. The last thing you need to do is determine which type of potions you want to make and set up your ingredients accordingly. Like you'll start with your nether wart for most potions, going into your ingredient, and then you can always put redstone or glowstone in the end to make it longer or stronger. And if you want more steps, or if you have a potion that requires more than 3, you can always just copy one of these tiers here, one of these setups like this, just bring it up another layer at the end. Or if you don't want to do the glowstone or the redstone at the end, you only want it to be 2 sections, all you have to do is not put the top section here, just close that off and just bring this down and make this your nether wart chest and this your ingredient chest here. So it's really flexible and really easy to add or subtract from this, and really easy to make it as wide as possible or as wide as you need it to be. And it's actually extremely efficient as far as how quickly it can brew potions and how many it can make over time, since as soon as you turn it on, it won't stop until you turn it off or until it runs out of ingredients. But anyways, guys, if this helped you out, which I hope it did, you can always leave a like on the video. And if you want to see more cool videos like this one here, you can always subscribe and check out the rest of my channel. But as always, thanks for watching, have an excellent day, and see you later.